Welcome to Accounting High.
We're going to have fully automated tax return processing at some point. How do you compete against that?
Until the software can literally take all your stuff, give you advice, and pull out a tax return that's right, we're a long way off from that. We're not technology firms. We are professional service firms. We are people. We are client-focused firms. If you run it like a technology company, then you're competing with Intuit. You ain't going to beat Intuit. If you're automating your firm for no client interaction, then you're basically automating yourself out of a job.
Hi, class is in session. It's time for Shoperations at Accounting. Hi, class is in session. It's time for Shoperations at Accounting. Hi, kids. Hybrid teams, for Pete's sake. I'm trying to manage through screens, but I can't figure out which Zoom window's my next meeting. Well, since 2012, my firm's been in the cloud. Join us as we go deep. I'll try not to run it to the ground. We're sharing profit and loss and managing back office. The tax staff just quit. Tried to hire on LinkedIn, no luck. And scope creep, team count, CAS, automate tax, compliance, transactions, ID, and bottlenecks. Come on, ops. Scotty, wait a minute. It's my firm, dog. I know, and I said you could run it however you want.
Introducing the star of our show,
Ackerman and Scotty.
We're gonna have a problem here.
I'm back, baby.
I'm back. Class is in session today. I'm recording from the cafeteria with our lunch lady, Lady Ackerman, Lady Jason.
Hey, the lunch
He's
lady,
back.
When you were in high school, the lunch lady was most important. You wanted to make sure you were on her good side. If you weren't getting the biggest slice of pizza.
The lunch
that's
lady
how
was
I feel
the cornerstone of the cafeteria, the cornerstone, the foundation of the school. Without lunch, you're not doing too well in fifth period.
Kids probably don't even have lunch now. They probably just take IVs and are on TikTok. I don't know what they do now.
Yeah, they got their sugar IVs. That's basically it. Sugar and TikToks for kids today.
I haven't been on in a year. What happened? You started a rap career. You ended a rap career.
Well, that hasn't been formally announced yet. My ending of my rap career hasn't formally been announced. I was waiting for a big place to make that statement.
Can you
somewhere.
Summarize your life? What has happened in 2 sentences since I've talked with you on the pod last?
I've recorded some shows and went to some conferences.
The intro rap is just perfect. It should have been Guess Who's Back, since I'm back, but that would have had to be a whole new one.
Yeah, we have to first intro you because a lot of our listeners don't even know who you are. Can you please formally introduce yourself?
First of all, this whole
podcast
idea was my idea, but then Scott took it and ran with it. So you're listening to this podcast because of me.
Tell them.
That's all I need.
Represent.
A few years ago, we were like, we need an accounting podcast to talk about how to run a firm better. And Scott, you were like, that's a great idea. I'm going to stop working at my firm and do this 100%. And here we are.
Somewhat accurate. This was at the beginning of 2021.
You have taken your whole, you've made this, it's an awesome podcast. You've done a great job with it. I haven't done what you did, which is basically you hired people to run your firm. You're kind of like Jesus, up on the mountain. This is you. This is like you on the mountain, like Jesus. And every once in a while you point down and say, hey.
No. I got my peace signs up on the mountain. I've slightly modified it. I'm just up here like that.
Peace signs, and then every once in a while you're like, hey, do this, which I think is great. So and you've really made this awesome, and I
think what I've done with the firm is probably more impressive than what I've done with this podcast. But
I don't know. You've been pretty good with you've got Ron as the principal, Ron Baker, who's a legend, and then
look, this is about our lunch lady today. All right, let's talk about our lunch lady. Where have you been, Ackerman? Our students know where I've been.
Well, I've had a baby.
You did have a baby.
He's 2 years old, so that also took away some of the time for the pod. But yeah, have a baby. A lot of things happening in our firm since I last spoke with you that I'm sure we'll talk about. So
here's the things that we're going to learn today. Students, Ackerman has been the peanut gallery on any episode you've listened to him. You didn't get to hear how impressive his firm is and the things that he's doing there. So we're going to talk a little bit more. We've done some hard numbers episodes in the past. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about possibly building apps at your firm. That's something that Ackerman was against back in the day.
Well,
and it sounds like he's doing what he's doing.
It's adjacent. It's adjacent.
A tax adjacent app.
I'm not against apps, but I'm against building a firm app because I think that's kind of dumb. But this is a different ballgame.
He's also building a CAS practice within his firm to be run separately than the tax practice, which is another thing that we like to talk about on the show. So
yeah. So I think most of you, shouldn't say most, a lot of the listeners here probably have a CAS practice first and foremost, and a tax practice may be adjacent to supplement. You're doing the bookkeeping for your clients and you're like, oh, they need a tax return, so I'm going to build a little tax thing. Well, we're the opposite. We are very tax focused, client service focused, but mostly on tax planning and tax advising. And we have reluctantly taken on some bookkeeping if we couldn't find someone to do it. But for the most part, we have outsourced all of our difficult bookkeeping to other bookkeeping firms.
Give us some hard numbers to kind of set the stage here. Because how many tax returns do you guys do a year?
Around 3,000.
3,000 tax returns. How much staff do you have preparing those returns?
We've got 36 people right now on the team, but part of that is we also have a wealth management side that my brother runs. So we do that's
BNA
4
Wealth.
people. That's 4.5 people. So yeah, we have BNA Wealth, which does investment advising, financial planning, and we do financial planning too, and more on the tax side. So we have about 31 people on the CPA side. We probably have 5 or 6 of those are admins and interns, and the rest are what I would call professional staff.
What's top line for the firm?
This year, we're going to be close to hopefully 6 million. If we
6
can,
million.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. And your pops, is he still actively involved?
Bernard is still around. Yes.
How many years left does Bernard have?
Bernard's going to work till he dies.
Till he dies.
He loves his clients. He
does.
He
loves
meets
his
with
job.
around 200 individuals a year, mostly during this time, and he's slowly. Most of the management of the practice is now done by me,
which was the case in the day too. Back in the day, he likes doing what he does, and you're pretty much running the show. But you're also doing a lot of tax returns. How many returns are you doing, Mister?
I'm doing this year. I'll do around 120, which is I used to do 500.
Yeah.
So. We are slowly getting down to the goal is 0. But I am reviewing. I do review all the returns now. So I look at every single return that goes through I do the final high level review. So I spend 1 to 5 minutes normally on each return.
Why are you the one that's still doing that?
For right now, until I get someone that I trust to do the review.
And how many employees did you say you had again? Out of, let's just say 30, you don't trust anybody to review returns?
No, not right now.
Wow.
I'm trying to groom them up. It's very difficult. I think one big issue with accounting is that we hire people and we expect them to be able to do everything. We've all agreed that accounting has become less mundane. We've automated a lot of stuff. AI is coming. Like all the mundane tasks are going to be automated. But we still have to be able to teach these young people out of college how to do the work. And it takes a very long time. Tax is very complex. It gets more and more complex every year with random stuff. Businesses that used to be in one place, used to have a retail store. It was in one location, one state. Well, now you can be selling on Amazon in 100 countries. Mm-hmm. So everything's much more complex now. And to teach people, it takes a very long time to get them up to what I consider like high level standards of being able to not only do a tax return, but be able to look at a tax return and then give advice on that tax return. That takes a very long time, like 10 plus years.
So it sounds like you got a lot of newbies there. What's the average?
Well, we have older people too, but it's also like the advising part, which we're all trying to get to, is very difficult to teach and takes a long time to learn. Just doing a tax return right takes 3 to 4 years to be able to just do tax returns right. And then it takes another probably 5 years to get them. But yeah, the goal is I will not be doing reviewing of returns.
It sounds like you have control still and you don't want to give that up and you don't trust anybody to take that over.
No, I will give it up, but we have to find the right person. I'm not just going to hire someone outside to do it because that's a culture ruiner. I have to groom them. And actually, Ed or Ron, I think it was Ed, who's like, I'd rather hire somebody straight out of college than hire a 5-year.
Well, Ed was kind of,
it
it reminded me of you when he said that. And I'm referring to our timesheet debate where Ed mentioned that he likes to hire people right out of school. And Ackerman's got an intern program, for those of you that don't know. He's hiring people fresh out of high school, putting them through college.
A big issue with the profession in general, as most of us are aware of, is like the pipeline issue. And a big part of that pipeline issue is we don't have an AP class in high school. So like the best kids aren't going to accounting. They're going to, the best kids need AP classes to keep their GPA up to go to the best schools. So they're not getting any exposure to accounting in high school. For some reason, the AICPA has not been able to get an AP class. For who knows what reason. I don't know what they do all day, but they can't get it done. In South Carolina, we are the first state that's offering a dual credit course with Winthrop University, which is in Rock Hill, where we are based, and high school. So basically, the high school kids are going to Winthrop. They're getting AP level credit. They're learning entry level accounting. This is the first year pilot program. There's, I think, 8 or 9 kids in it. Next year, there's hopefully going to be 20 to 30 kids in a couple different high schools around here. We have already hired one of them, who's actually a really cool story. He's from Sicily in Italy. Did not speak English 2 years ago. Taught himself. He was in this accounting class, and he's like, I'm working at Harris Teeter, which is the local grocery store here if you're not from around here, owned by Kroger now. And he's like, I get off at noon. I don't want to work at Harris Teeter. I was like, well, you should come intern with us. So now he's interning with us as a high school intern. Mostly, our high school interns mostly do administrative stuff, which is answering phones, assembling tax returns, stuff like that. So he's doing that. The goal would be if he works out, we'll pay for him to go to Winthrop. He works throughout Winthrop, and then he starts. So he's with us 5 or 6 years before. Since we spoke last, we had a college internship scholar program. So basically, after we find sophomores, they intern with us during TAT season or 3 to 4 months, sometimes in the summer. If they agree and we agree, then we make them a scholar, and then we pay $10,000 a year towards their college. In turn, they work for us at least 3 years after graduation. So we started that in 2019, right before COVID kind of put that on a little, we couldn't get really good students. We have since added a different part, which is a member program. So we're basically doing a 1-day internship for freshmen and sophomores mostly. And they come in for a day, they shadow one person, they go to lunch, we give them $500. And that kind of gets their feet in the door. And then from there, they're going to apply to be an intern and then therefore a scholar. So that literally just started. We had the first ones in about a month ago. It's going well. We're trying to build our own pipeline. I think that's fantastic. Key for what we're doing. So we can compete with the big 4 firms, because the big 4 firms starting salary, at least in Charlotte's, around 65, 70. We start our kids around 75, but we can do that because they've worked with us for 4 years. They're more advanced than most kids coming out of college because they know. You're
not really starting them at 75. Once they finally graduate, you're paying them 75. But before that, you're paying them intern rates. You're paying them before that.
Well, we're not just paying.
You're paying for their school too, though.
So we pay them, I think, $20 to $25 an hour. Plus, we're paying them $10,000 a year. Yeah, you can't fire and we've kind of gone up a bunch because they've approached us and they're like, hey, I can go work at Starbucks for $18. Like, you can't. So we have to be. We have to pay them a good amount. Yes.
But you guys have the margins to be able to do this. Like, sometimes you just go on spending sprees just to spend some extra money, just to save on taxes.
Well, it's called tax planning, prepayments of some expenses. But I think it's reallocating where a lot of firms pay recruiters. Like, recruiters are expensive as hell. You got to pay $50,000, $60,000 one time up front to hire somebody. Well, instead of doing that, we're reallocating that towards a scholarship program. And it's much more cheaper.
It's not like you're putting out a fire here and there and you need somebody to fill this spot. And that's also probably why you covet this review position so much, because you're afraid of putting somebody there and then maybe you burn them out or they don't work out. I don't know. What are some of these trust issues? Let's go dig a little bit deeper there into you still reviewing all the returns at the firm.
Well,
it sounds like you've got a lot of responsibilities. Review. Yeah, high-level review. That still means you have to open up every return.
Yes, I have to open up every return.
And 3,000 returns times 5 minutes is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of minutes.
We have to get someone up there. But again, I'm not going to. I could go out and find. I could go find like an Ed and hire him to do high level review, but that's not what I
He's
want to do.
emeritus at Witham. I think he's going to be reviewing returns at Witham if he does anything.
But I'm saying someone of that quality.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I could find somebody, but
you also enjoy doing this too. You like the interaction that you get. You get to poke into a return, and then you get to go teach something to one of your staff because they did something that they shouldn't have done. And so it's a teaching moment.
I do like it. I do want to get somebody. It is important that I am not a bottleneck, and the firm needs to be able to run without me. So it's important to get other people into positions that can do stuff, and then I get to do what I want to do, which is what I'm trying to do. So in the last 3 years, we've hired a firm administrator, an office manager. We've hired a full-time marketing person, and then we just hired our person to lead our CAS practice. So we've done a lot of hiring for, I think, key positions in the firm that's going to set ourselves up for even more future success. A big part of our firm too is the biggest part of our firm, whether we do accounting or blah, 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 is that client focus and the client service, and kind of what Ron's saying, like you do kind of whatever for the client. Like we want to become the concierge
from
medicine.
womb to tomb.
Yeah. But I think the concierge medicine, that's like what we want to be. We basically want to be like, hey, you're going to pay us whatever. Like a concierge medicine charges between $2,500 and $3,000 a year. That's just for access. So you're paying that, and then you're paying on top.
Like a membership fee at a country club.
Yeah, exactly. You get the monthly membership fees, and then you pay when you use it. So hey, we do a tax return, we do blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of the ultimate goal of where we want to get to.
It's the BNA family practice, right?
Yeah.
You're going to do wealth. We're going to have an app. We're going to have CAS practice and
the
tax.
The app is completely different.
But it's still something for the clients. But it's still another arm in the spoke, another spoke in the wheel.
But we don't want to do everything. That's because you can't do everything. I mean, you could. Like if you're a KPMG or whatever, you can do everything. It's kind of like zero. It's kind of like zero versus QuickBooks. QuickBooks wants to buy all these things and do everything, and like half of them are mediocre, but they do everything. Like we want to be like the zero, which is like the general ledger. We're the general ledger. We're going to do the basic stuff. Like we're going to do your tax return. We're going to do the tax planning.
You want to be the Apple of tax.
I think the zero is better because
zero's a better analogy. All right,
because zero. Hypothetically, their whole goal was like, hey, we're going to do the general ledger, but the other stuff, like other people do better, we're going to build great integrations with them, like with Augusto or with a Bill.com or whatever. But we're going to have the best
Apple's
general
not a good
ledger.
Example of that. This is definitely zero. Your firm is still primary zero, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Zero for life, baby.
Yeah, and now that we got into that, let's kind of pivot to the CAS practice that you're looking to develop within your firm. So you used to always say on the show, you shouldn't be mixing tax and books. You should be going to a separate firm or a separate firm to do that. You were very specific in your criticism of firms that were doing both.
No, I'm not saying, but it needs to be separated. And I still 100% agree with that. Our biggest issue was that we had CPAs that were doing bookkeeping, and that's not profitable.
The ditch digging.
So,
right.
But bookkeeping, like the way we want to do bookkeeping, and the reason why we're going to do it is I see books all the time, and it's like complete. Like most bookkeepers have no clue what they're doing. We outsource our bookkeeping.
You say that about most tax preparers too, Ackerman. If they're not you doing it, then they're. This is what I've come to realize.
But we were like, we found a couple local bookkeepers, and we're like, hey, we're going to refer you work, and we referred this one guy like $250,000 worth of work, like recurring revenue, just from clients. Just literally, if you're breathing, we will give you work because we didn't have the build out for bookkeeping, and So, and as we're doing the tax returns, we go and review, and it's like, hey, we still have to do a lot of work to get it ready for the tax return. Cleanup work, which we shouldn't have to do. Like, we should have to do a couple things. We might have to do the depreciation journal entry and maybe a couple of accruals, but like, we shouldn't have to go on the balance sheet and reconcile the balance sheet. And most bookkeepers, apparently they don't know what a balance sheet is and never look at it. Like, you pull it up and you're like, hey, this is like, we've got negative $400,000. Like, what's happening here? So I know
it all too well. And it is a good example, and you're right. that does happen a lot. So why not solve the problem on your own?
That's exactly right. So basically I'm like, hey, we have to develop something. We have tried to do it in the past, and where I think we failed was that we tried to take our current clients and that we were already do bookkeeping for, that weren't priced right, that weren't blah, 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 and just put them on bookkeeping. So we're not doing that. Basically, we have hired somebody who she used to run a local payroll company, but has that payroll company sold, and she was going to go back to this accountant that owned the payroll company. And I've worked with her for like 10 years via this local payroll company. So I was like, okay, this is a perfect time to get somebody to do this. So we have hired her. She started 1st of January. And basically she has 6 to 8 months where she is not doing any work. She is literally, her whole goal is to build the bookkeeping practice, build the bookkeeping team, build the processes, figure out the niche markets that we want to go after, figure out how it's going to fit within the CPA firm. So that's what she's doing. So for 8 months, including now, and and it's good for her to be here during tax season. So she's shadowing people. She's seeing what's going on, seeing how the CPA side works. And she has a CPA background. So she worked in an accounting firm, and she ran a payroll company, which is like way harder than bookkeeping, because if you don't do payroll right, like people don't get paid. So that's bad. So she's here, very excited about that. I think
8 months of no client work and 8 months of building another practice within your practice. That's a lot of patience.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. Is like we weren't patient before, and we tried to make it profitable right away. And we're paying her a salary of whatever, $100,000+. She's going to have to hire people. She's going to have to do stuff.
She's running a firm within a firm. Are you going to still call it BNA? What are you going to call it?
Yeah, we're going to price it together because you don't want it to be.
You're just running it separately within the firm.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but
when you're marketing, so tell me about how you're going to market this. Is she going to do the marketing for it just under BNA, or is it?
Yeah, so that's what she's figuring out. Is like what are our ideal clients, who we want, and we're not. Eventually, like in a year or two, we will move our current clients over there. But right now, it's just like, hey, this is just for new clients. What are we going to do for new clients that we bring on?
Ooh, I love that. That's pretty cool, because then you don't have to try to convert somebody who already has an existing perception of your firm. So somebody new coming in, these are all the wonderful things. Yeah,
it's much easier. It's much harder to tell somebody that they're paying $400 or $500 that they need to pay $1,500, which they should be paying. We will eventually get there, but let's set it up right first. Get the processes, get new clients, get them rolling, and then we'll go back and figure out how we convert the current clients.
This is an exciting endeavor that you've gotten involved in, and you're not getting your hands too dirty either. It doesn't sound like. It sounds like you're kind of letting her run with it. My other co-host, I was talking to her yesterday, and she said, well, Ackerman just reached out to me. This was Nikole MacKenzie, and your person, she was doing some research. Is that right? She was looking up other firms, and she found Nikole on her own?
Yeah, so she's found Nikole. She found Tate Henshaw. She found, who else did she find? I got her hooked up with Zachary. So I've got the network of
all of these Accounting High alumni here.
Yeah. So basically, she's going to Kenji and Matt at Acuity. I'm going to have her reach out to them and figure out what she likes about them, what she doesn't like about them. And we know there's going to be mistakes made, and I'm just trying to give her the freedom to build
give
it
her
how
the
she
rope
wants
to
to
make mistakes too, though, which is very important.
That's how you learn.
The only way she's going to learn. Yeah.
That's what I tell everyone. It's like, that's how you learn, make mistakes. Like tax is not, the good thing about tax is we can amend. We're not doing brain surgery.
This sounds so counterintuitive to your review strategy here. I don't trust anybody else. That's the reality of you reviewing returns.
Well, no, I let people make mistakes with tax, but then I hopefully will catch it.
You will catch the mistakes. Okay.
Hopefully.
Good,
we don't catch it all the time. So
No, and that's impossible if you're reviewing 3,000 returns.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend at the practice these days working?
Like on tax returns or just in general?
How much time do you spend in general?
I mean, this is tax season. So this is March 12th. This is our busiest week.
Yet you still have time to record with me. Thank you.
Right now I'm working probably 50, 60 hours a week. After tax season, I'll work 35, 40.
Seems pretty relaxed. Even the 50-60 just didn't seem like that much to you. And you kind of
It seems a lot now because if I work till like 9 now, I'm like so tired. Like I'm too old for it.
You got a kid at home. You whistled on your way to work, though. You like doing this.
I like taxes. What I like is I like helping clients. That's what I like. I think that's why most people get into accounting. It's like I want to help clients, and that's what our firm. We're here to help clients. We're here to make clients' lives better. Whether we save them on taxes or give them advice or blah blah blah, we're helping clients. That's our job.
So you like that people interaction. You like interacting with clients. If you had to work a whole day and just look at returns,
I'm very
and not talk to
introverted
anybody,
though. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
I would be like, I like helping people, but I don't necessarily like to be with people all day. But I do like helping people.
Okay. So you like to be in the position where you can offer advice and assistance and help when they need it, but if not, stay away from me because I'm busy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. You still get a chance to play a lot of golf?
I try and play once a week if my wife lets me.
Let's see. So
I have a baby now. She's the real boss, a toddler.
So how do you guys, what's the management structure or hierarchy at the firm? Like how, if I started working there, who would I go to with a question about something?
That's a really good question. We're trying to get it a little bit more process oriented, but right now, we're kind of like what Ron says. It's kind of like the Wild Wild West, which is good and bad.
I'm the one who said that on that episode. But maybe Ron says that too.
No, but Ron's whole point is like you don't manage knowledge workers. You let them do what they want.
Yeah.
And you manage their stuff. So that's kind of what we're doing. It's harder for the younger people. Like once they get to a certain, like once they've been here 5 or 6 years, then, they've got their clients. They kind of deal with whatever they ask questions of me or somebody else if it's high level. But for the younger people, like the interns and the 1 to 2 years, they need a lot more hand holding on stuff because they don't know how to do anything.
More supervision.
So those people, we are building a kind of more of a support system for them because I don't think we've done a good job of that in the past. We kind of just threw them to the wolves, and that can be like good and bad. Like sometimes you figure it out and that's how you learn quickly, but we don't want them to feel like they don't have any support. So we're working on that. And I think our COO has really built out a lot of those processes. I don't think we had good stuff like that a year or two ago, that we have better stuff now.
How did you find your COO?
She worked with us 3 times. She was an intern with us. She was one of those high school interns. And then she left. And then she came back to be a bookkeeper when we were kind of doing bookkeeping. And then she left to work at another firm. And I knew she wasn't happy with that firm. So I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a different type of role. Because I knew she didn't really want to do accounting. But she has the accounting background, which is good because she knows what's going on. So,
but she has the people skills to handle some other things that you thought were valuable.
Yes. And she's learned, I mean, it's a hard role to fit because management in general, like you don't go to school for management. Yes, there's like management training and like in your MBA, you have some management, but like management's really hard to learn how to do. She has some of that experience, but she's learning, but she's very like detailed and process driven, which is kind of the opposite of me and what I needed. It's like in the EOS, like visionary integrator, like she's supposed to be the integrator. I'm supposed to be the visionary.
How's that working out?
It's turned out good. We also went through the whole EOS process, which
you did.
I think is like 64% bullshit, but I do like the overall idea of it. Like, I think it's way too many meetings. Like you're supposed to meet like once a week. And I'm like, that's just so many meetings.
Yeah. Now we have EOS in structure, but I'm not necessarily in all of the meetings.
Yeah, I like the concept of EOS and like the overall infrastructure, but I think we've kind of tailored it to what we want. So we have like 90-day scorecard stuff. I do meet with Lauren, who's our COO, every week, but I'm not going to meet with and if she met with like the 5 people under her every week, like when is she going to work? When do these people work?
Let's talk about the accountability chart. That's sort of what I was hinting at or getting to. So did you guys set up your accountability chart and how long did that take?
We have a chart, yeah.
Doesn't sound like it's dogma or it's like you're strictly following.
Well,
like,
I mean,
where do
everything
you sit
should
in that
go
accountability
through her.
chart? Everything
I'm
should.
the visionary.
You're the visionary, but you're reviewing returns, so your name's somewhere else on that chart too.
Well, as far as like who people report to,
Mm-hmm.
I'm no one should report to me. but I am
She does.
still doing accounting work.
It took us a long time to build our accountability chart because in the beginning, and we had an implementer, we had somebody that was strict and told us what we could and couldn't do. We wanted to just kind of whip it up and put it together in one meeting. Here's our accountability chart. But that was what the future was going to look like. And we had to actually bridge that and put together what was the reality right now. How many different things did I have my hands in, or did Chris, or did anybody else? And it took us, years to get to the point
and
where
that's the process. That's like the 90-day scorecard. So like right now, my scorecard's like 50% work and 50% working on the firm. And eventually it needs to be 100% working on the firm, but it takes time to get there. And the scorecards are good because it does create accountability. Like you have to look at it and be like, hey, did I do this 3 months or not? So I think that's been good. But
you also have some more clarity on where the firm is going rather than just kind of what you're.
Yeah, and I think that's the key I think for our team members. It's like, hey, we don't have titles, we don't have a structure really, but we want a place for them to grow and feel like they are learning, and there's a place to grow within the firm for them. And like, what does that look like? So we have kind of roles, and we've developed roles. So like, hey, you've been here 1 to 3 years. This is what you should be doing. You've been here 4 to 6 years. This is where you should be from 6 to blah, blah, blah. And like, when you get there, like, hey, when you've been here 15 years, you should be doing this. So that's kind of what we're building out, which are job scorecards and job roles, but not so rigid. That's what there's like a fine line. Like I want processes, but I don't want them to be too rigid because I don't want people to feel like, hey, this isn't my job, because that's like the worst thing. Like we all work as a team, and like there's certain times of the year or certain things where someone needs help that you got to step in and help, including myself. And everyone does that now. And I don't want that to go away because it's not on someone's scorecard. So, and
not
and
my
that's the thing,
job,
like
not my problem. You don't want that attitude.
Yeah, and just like measuring, kind of going back to the beginning of measuring stuff, it's like it's very important what you measure and what's on your scorecard. So if it's on that scorecard, people are going to think that that's what they're judged on, and everything else might not matter. So
it's funny because you used to criticize my scorecard all the time. I was so excited. I put my scorecard together. Well, I'll have to run the tape.
Yeah.
Because you said those same things. You said you're creating a system that's too rigid and it's not creating any opportunity for people to. And I was okay with that. I needed to. This is what Ed said too on that recent timesheet debate. The system is sacrosanct. You have to follow the system.
And I don't necessarily agree with that, because you follow the system, but you need to have the higher level view of what's going on, and you got to be able to see the forest through the trees. And we are not. We are a successful firm, I think, is built on relationships, and that relationship is normally with the accountant and the client. And you can have all the processes in the world, but at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. And if you build too many processes, and if every year you have a different person working on a return, and you make yourself like, yes, I need to be replaceable in the firm. Like if I die, I want people to know that someone here is going to take care of them, and they will. But I still have my clients that I'm responsible for. Slowly I'm moving them away. But that's how it works. It's that relationship that, like, I think you said that. I think you said the relationship is the most important thing. So, like, you can't process out a relationship, but most firms do process out that relationship, and that's
or they
where
try
they mess
to
up.
And they fail. They try and they fail. They have too much turnover, and then they're still doing the work. So what I see a lot of firm owners too is they're too quick to get out of things.
Yes.
And they remove themselves from things too fast.
Yeah, like you should be the hardest working person. Like if you own the business, like you have to set that example. I really believe this now. Scott, you've kind of done stuff a little different, and it can work that way too. So I shouldn't say it. This is what I believe and how I like.
I was the hardest working person. I'm not ashamed of that. And for years, I was working 80 hours a week.
Yeah, and you have to like. And I'm not saying that. And like so many firm owners are like, hey, I'm just going to own a firm, and I'm not going to be involved at all. And like you can do that once you've done what Scott's done, which is put in the work and the time and been there for 8+ years, and built out the processes and know everything that's going on and hired the right people. But you can't just do that. You can't buy a firm or start a firm and think, hey, I'm just going to outsource everything. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work.
No, because the customers are not going to feel taken care of.
Yeah. And
the
the
clients
customers
need to feel like they are the most important person when they're there. And
they are.
exactly. They're the ones paying you. They're the reason you're in business. So they come first. What are you doing now to get in front of clients? Is because your growth has been pretty substantial since we met. Around the time we met, you weren't even 2 million, almost 2 million.
I think the key that we did was we went to fixed price billing in 2014 or 15, like a long time ago. We dropped our timesheets. We don't have any timesheets. We're one of the largest firms that literally has no timesheets of like a CPA firm. I think our key was we switched our mindset from we bill by the hour to we bill on value. We were a traditional firm with a lot of $300-$400 tax returns. We've basically gotten rid of all those. We didn't want to get rid of our clients that have been with us for 30 years, but we're slowly getting their price increase and they're slowly naturally churning. So our key, though, is that we've all, from the very beginning, my dad, we've been in business for 46 years now. It's client service, putting the client first. Client. If you do that, then you will be successful.
But it wasn't until you were at the helm, and this is within the last 5 years at least, that you started aggressively raising prices too.
Yeah. When we switched over to fixed fee, we basically just took, hey, this client's paying us $15,000 a year based on time. We're just in charge of $15,000, which like
kind
that
of
was an
Ed
easy transition.
Yeah.
Easy transition, not really the right way to do it, but it's an easy transition to do. At least you can get rid of timesheets and you can value bill. We did that. We didn't raise prices for a while because we wanted people to get used to that. You should not we raise prices every year. It's in our contract. We raise it at least 6%. During COVID, we went up a little bit more. And one reason why I like to review all the returns is I review the pricing. So I can tell if a return's not right, or I can look, like we use Carbon and I can see all the emails. And if I see 1 million emails, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of client communication here. We need to go up.
There it. All right. So now you got to the point of the reviewing. Is you're still kind of in control of the invoicing or the pricing of it in some ways.
I do like to look at it.
No. This is what held me to the firm, was the sales, the pricing, and all of that. That's what kept me in a lot of my seats, because I felt like we were going to be losing money if I wasn't the one doing it, because people wouldn't care as much as me about making sure that the price was right.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of pricing fully at your firm?
Lauren is doing. I'm trying. I used to do all the new client calls. I don't do that anymore. Lauren does all that. So I'm trying to get so that I am just working on the firm. And like ideally I want to do some review and some teaching and then work on the high level stuff. So that's where we're getting to slowly.
Yeah, but you're the primary reason for a lot of this growth. We can't deny that, because you are the most motivated by it. And it's working. Whatever you're doing is working. Your firm's almost at 10 million at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if you were there before the end of the decade.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, all right, so 2017 we were at 2.8, and now last year we were at 5.3. This year we should be close to, I don't know if we'll quite hit 6, but that's the goal. I think we're going to get pretty close.
Okay, so you're rounding up. You're about,
and that's not even including like bookkeeping. That doesn't include wealth. That's just really the CPA.
Just wait till after this 8 months of building up the bookkeeping practice too. So you're trying to get out of the work and trying to get out of certain things, but you still enjoy it, so it's going to be hard. Did you what was the last thing that you kind of removed yourself from? Was it sort of this operational role?
Yeah. I mean, up until December, I was meeting with all the new clients that came through.
Are you not meeting with new clients anymore?
No, I'm not meeting with, Lauren is doing that. So I'm not meeting with new clients.
Do you feel like you're missing anything? Are you still looking over her shoulder on some stuff?
Nope. She'll come to me with stuff, but yeah, I'm out she'll ask questions sometimes. The reason why I was hesitant to give up on it is because I'm a CPA and I have the CPA background, I'm pretty good at looking at a tax return and telling them what's wrong with it and telling them what they need. But what Lauren is doing now is she's doing that initial phone call, kind of getting what they want. And then she's going with another CPA and getting them to kind of look at it. So I think that's also getting the other people involved in pricing, kind of seeing stuff. So it's working out well. I mean, it's during tax season, so this is like, all hands on deck craziness. But
So it might be also a little bit better because you can't not offer any free advice during that meeting. Like that might have been a temptation for you to offer.
I don't
some
think free
things up.
advice is bad.
Oh, okay.
I think free advice is good because it shows you like, hey, I know what I'm talking about.
And you're not
I'm
struggling
willing
to get paid anyway. You don't have that.
Yeah, I'm
kind
not
of
gonna.
issue.
I'm gonna give you like if I know the answer right off, I'll tell you stuff. We have our type form, which you started.
It's my type form that you're using.
That I copied from you.
Yeah.
But basically, like you have to click before you can even talk to Lauren or me or anybody. You have to say you're going to spend at least $2,000 with us. So that gets rid, especially during tax season. Like I think every day I get 5 type forms that come through that just say like I'm looking for something cheaper because everyone who needs someone now is not prepared and they want their stuff done like it's due on Friday and they're like, hey, can you do my escrow return? It's due Friday.
Yeah.
No, I think that just implementing that has been great because it just weeds out a lot of crap. You still get some crap that comes through, but by the time they talk to Lauren, they kind of understand like, hey, this is expensive. And like my next thing is like, if anyone complains about our price, I'm just going to fire them. Like I'm really tired of just people complaining about prices. I'm like, you don't get it. You don't understand the value. You're fired.
That's a position of power though. You have that ability to do that because you got plenty of other clients.
It is, but those clients they're the ones that are weighing us down. Yeah, I have clients that are 18,000, 25,000 a year, and like every year it's like we wrestle over the price. Like it's like hey, let's go wrestle over this, and I'm like, you don't get it. Like you just don't get it. You need to go someplace else and see the difference.
Do they ever come back?
Yeah, a lot of times they come back, and it's an immediate like,
and it's
like, hey,
even
you have
higher.
to yeah, it's at least 30% more, and you have to pay an onboarding fee to come back.
That's good too. That's slick. Tell our students a little bit about the taste of building an app.
This is tax, like I said, it's tax adjacent. So we do a lot of financial plan. We do a lot of retirement planning for businesses. So you need like, hey, you're making a lot of money. What type of retirement plan do we want for your business? Is it a 401k, simple IRA? Do you need a cash balance plan? What do we need? This is like, we do a lot of this. And we also have a wealth management side. So we do the planning and then we also like manage the assets. And so there's that. And then there's the step of like, hey, let's get it set up in payroll and like who's going to make the payments. Like there's a lot of stuff going on that's difficult. And what I've seen for our clients that have simple IRAs, which is a good option for a lot of businesses, like there's no good option on the market. We have a guideline out there, which like most people shouldn't use guideline because they're very cookie cutter. But that type of idea of like, hey, let's get a modern simple IRA platform involved. So that's what we're building out. And we have a client who does apps, or it's not really app, it's a software. So software for a service, a SaaS product. So
software application, a software app.
Yeah, but it's not like, hey, we're building a BNA app that's going to connect to bots and blah, 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 where you can see all your stuff. Like this is a legit, very expensive, like hopefully will pay off idea that I've had and my brother have had for 4 or 5 years. We kind of started, and then our client who does these things, he just sold one of the apps. He had capacity for a new one. I was like, hey, this is our idea. And they really liked it. So we're calling it Wealth Rabbit, which is exciting. So it's not quite ready yet, but when we
like Task Rabbit,
kind of, but well, so coming up with the name is actually like, so our original name idea for the name was Goldie, which I like, but it's like impossible to trademark that. Also, Goldie.com is way taken, or like $2 million to get. So we went through like 100 iterations, and Wealth Rabbit we were able to get for like, we had to negotiate with someone. So anyway, that's the title for right now. And basically you'll be able, like as a accountant, you'll be able to go on, and this is designed for like small businesses to set it up on their own, cheap, efficient, easy. But also accountants, like one thing we were doing is like, hey, we want to set you up on a simple. Well, right now you have to like fill out actual paperwork, like mail it in. When you do your deposits, you have to mail in a check. Like that's a load of bull. We don't want that. So basically you'll be able to, the first version won't connect directly with payroll, but you'll be able to basically pull the report from Gusto, go on our app, type in the 4 numbers and press a button, and then it'll go to everyone's account. And the underlying assets will be managed by my brother, who's a CFP, and will be low fee, good assets that people should be in instead of, all these high expensive mutual funds or blah, 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 blah. So we're excited about it. It'll be launching in about a month or two, the original one. It's really like most people set these things up kind of towards the end of the year for the next year. So we're really targeting like October, November is like when we're going to be full force going. So it's exciting. I've never done, so it's exciting on a CPA side. Like, so my role is more of the CFO level. And like, I've advised clients a lot on buying businesses, running business, selling business, but now doing it on your own and seeing how all this stuff being in it is going to help the CPA side too. So it's exciting.
Yeah. How much are you investing in this?
Well, it's supposed to, they think it's going to cost $2 million to build. So Adam and I are 48%, 46%. So we're basically going to put in over 2 years, maybe 460,000. We'll see.
Wow.
So I don't know where we're going to get all that money, but because we don't have that type of money lying around, but that's kind of the idea. Like that you can't, we're planning on not making any money for the first year, basically. So, which is how you have to run apps, maybe 2 years. So that's what they think it's going to cost to build.
Well, that's exciting too. That's another like potential service arm. Like I said, it's spokes
and what's
on the
cool
wheel.
is like I'm excited from the CPA side because I have, and I don't know if people listening here advise on retirement plans, but like when you do, and like a lot of times the bookkeeper is doing the payroll, like reconciling the deposits with the 401ks and the simples, or maybe they're going, like we're going online for clients and doing these deposits, some bookkeeping stuff. It's like 1994 here. And we'll start with simples and then we're not really going to go to the full 401k space, but we're going to go into SEP IRAs and solo 401ks and like the very basic plans because also solo 401ks too. Like I have so many people, I'm like, hey, you need to set up a solo 401k. And they're like, I don't know how to do that. And they send me the form for them to fill out. And it's like, hey, I'm doing the job of the financial advisor because the financial advisor has no clue what's going on. So it's like, hey, let's automate this and make it easy for the client and also easy to deposit the money in there, see the balances, see what's going on, get performance. And hopefully it'll be good for the employees too. Like the idea is like, hey, this is a benefit for, like most of the time we set up these plans. It's like, hey, we want to defer this for the business owner, but it's also an employee benefit. So let's like keep employee retention. Let's give them a nice cool app that they want. Like they don't want to have to figure out some weird login for their thing and don't know what's going on. And it's very opaque.
So for your ideal client, I know you're still trying to figure out that ideal client persona, but for that person that's coming to you, it sounds like BNA is going to offer a lot of solutions for them in the future. A business owner that needs CAS can come find you, get their bookkeeping stuff done. They can also do their taxes and they can also do their wealth management. And eventually you're going to have an app for them to handle that too. That's a one-stop shop. That to me sounds like Apple, not Xero, sir.
Well, yeah, I think, but there are stuff like.
But BNA can handle all of this for you. You don't have to go to different firms.
Well, there's some specialized things that we're not going to offer. Like if you need like an R&D tax credit, for instance, like you need expertise for that. If you need a TPA for your 401k, like
right, but you're still the house that's connecting them with the right person.
Yes, and that's what we want to be. We want to be that person. Like I know what you need. We might not be able to do it here, but I will get you to the right person.
The heart of the house.
Yeah, exactly. The heart of the house. That is what we want to be. And whether we do it internally or not internally, like not all clients are a good bookkeeping fit for what we're doing. Like they might not need what we need, but I will find them somebody, or like they need a lawyer or they need something else that we're not going to offer. We will make sure it gets done. And that's what the concierge medicine person does. Like they're normally internal medicine people. They know the basics, but like, hey, you need a heart doctor. Hey, we're going to get you set up here. Or I'm going to quarterback you. Yeah. That's what we want to do.
Well, you got a nice haircut there, sir. Still got plenty of gray hairs coming in. You're going to be,
baby.
You got 40 rolling around in a few years, right? You're going to be 40 in a few years.
How old am I? I'm 37 right
37? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
are you 40 yet?
I turned 40 last year. So,
yeah, baby.
An aging CPA Going on 40, what kind of advice can you get? I'm still working in the lunchroom and the cafeteria at Accounting High. Among all of these other things that you're doing, you're still serving out meatloaf
I'm making
and pizza.
making the pizza, making the chicken nuggets.
Meatloaf,
Chicken
pizza,
tenders.
chicken nuggets, fries, all this garbage food that we're feeding our kids. You got to get some more healthy foods in there for our students. Give some advice to them as an aging CPA who's running a very successful, profitable practice. You don't seem too stressed out. Give our students some advice. What's one piece of advice?
This is definitely a stressful time. So, but yeah, I think the biggest thing is you got to focus on the client service, and everything you do. If you build a process, it's like, is this going to make our clients' interactions better? And if it's not, then you need to rethink the process. And that includes literally like everything that you do, from like every client touch needs to be a good touch. If it's not a good touch, then like, what are we doing?
Sounds kind of sexual, but I'm not going to go there. It's going to get you fired, especially from Accounting High.
Yeah, I do work for
if it's not a good touch.
But yeah, every client interaction is very important. And I think what I see from most firms is they have gone away from that. So they're trying to figure out every way not to talk to the client. Like, hey, you upload all your stuff to an app and then a tax return comes out. Well, okay, like anyone can do that. But
well, that's the way that's getting into AI automating tax returns at some point. We're going to have that. We're going to have fully automated tax return processing at some point. How do you compete against that? Service.
Well, it's the same thing with bookkeeping. It's like, hey, it's good. Anything that's mundane that can be automated, that is good. But until the software can literally take all your stuff, give you advice, and pull out a tax return that's right, like we're a long way off from that. So it'll get here, I'm sure. But like,
we're close.
If you're automating your firm for no client interaction, then you're basically automating yourself out of a job. Like we still meet with clients. We still talk with them. Like I do, like it's not about
nobody's arguing for full automation. I'm saying it's possible. I'm not arguing that anybody should actually do that.
I'm all for it.
That's a commodity. That's a full commodity, and you're racing to the bottom if you're trying to compete with that.
Yes, the way the most accounting firms are doing it is that. And that's, I 100% agree with you, not smart. So you have to, like, and one thing I don't agree with Ron with, he's like, you have to run your firm like an Apple or like Silicon Valley. It's like, hey, we're not technology companies. We are, technology companies literally don't want to interact with you. Like, you try and call support for these places, it's like they don't care about that because they're trying to build an app that's like, it's like I heard Zero say this, like every time you contact support, that's a failure in our app. We didn't do something right. Well, I don't think that's the proper way to look at stuff in general, but we're not technology firms. We are professional service firms that we are people, we are client focused firms. Like we're client, like we are servicing a client. We are not a technology company. We cannot run our place like a technology company.
We are not a technology company.
Because if you run it like a technology company, like then you're competing with Intuit. You ain't gonna beat Intuit. So you want to compete with Intuit? Go for it. They're gonna destroy you. So you have to focus on the client and focusing on the client, and you make more money that way.
I love it. That's a perfect way to end it. I love it.
How long did we go for? 7 hours?
Class dismissed.
Okay.